She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the talkies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm gonna comment on that. But that's not the only change that could potentially be happening. There are changes to the rules of the game that are being proposed here. The offsides rule. I immediately want to come out and say that this is the stupidest thing I have seen. They are trying to test out that the attacking player would have to be completely in front of the defender's body. Mike, please tell me that you agree that this would be the stupidest thing. You would have Timo Werner in Ballon d'Or conversations if this stupid rule gets passed because they can't look across a line. I think the issue with offsides is the VAR and the annoyingness with that. This is not the fix. This just makes it a stupider rule. Am I right in thinking that, or are you on the other side?
Somewhere in the middle. It's going to drastically change how defenses play and how high up the field they are. Can't hold a high line anymore because attackers will just be able to cheat. And more often than not, you don't have Kyle Walker on your team to run down a dude who's got a head start on you. So drastic changes. I need to see it in effect before I make a decision on whether I love it or hate it. But it's major. It's very, very major.
Nick, we mentioned this slightly before the pod, and you enraged me with your take. But you're a proponent of this. Why?
First of all, if you can't track him down, get faster, nerd. Fucking get in the gym, do some laps. And second of all, I mean, how annoying is it currently? The only weird thing is it would make it fully automated. Like it would have to be the offsides rules, like linesmen. It would be very hard for them. So we'd have to make it way more automated, similar to how like goal line technology works. But it has to be where right now, if your hand is offsides, that has no impact on the play, but now a goal is being kept out of the game. Like I've never seen the value in that. I don't know how that helps you out, right? In this case, once you're offside, there's very clear that you have a huge advantage. Your entire body is behind that final player. So rightfully so, that goal should be ruled out. Lines are already so tight anyways that it's never like it's usually never. Now, again, this would change with the rule, but it's just the foot that is lagging behind. But defenders will also adjust. They'll play deeper. They'll be more ready to like sag off as opposed to trying to hold that line. Is what it is. I think it's better for the game. I think more goals going in is a good thing. And I think that it would take away a lot of the controversy of some of those smaller decisions because even if like it's really, really tight and you don't know if his toe's exactly offside, well, you can still say offside and just be like, clear disadvantage for the defender. I know you talked about torso, but I think that would be a little bit more subjective, a little harder for refs to figure out, and there'd be more arguments there. My personal opinion, I think this is a home run, and I think you're a moron.
Oh my god. I think that is just the stupidest thing. This is just
Why?
going to the exact
what's bad
opposite.
about it?
Nick, your first point about this rule was that everything would then have to be automated. The issue with offsides right now is that things are getting automated and fucked up because you have to go to VAR on these things. That makes it so much harder. You're going to say, oh, the stud of his cleat is actually in line with his knee, so we can't do whatever. And you're also switching it to an absolute complete different rule here. It is a basic rule of soccer that I feel like there's been so many of these proposed rules that oh, this might help out the game if you just change a basic rule of the game. You're changing the game way too much if you do this. And what's going to happen is you're going to have somebody like a Mikel Antonio, a Daryl Dike, anybody that's very large is just going to sit on the ass of the center back and stick their arm back when a ball is played through. So their arm is keeping them on sides and they're already in front of the center back. It's going to lead to cherry picking, terrible play. There's going to be no skill in it. You're just going to have a big-ass forward that sticks a leg back or an arm back once the ball's kicked when they're boxing out a center back, and then it's just a race with the goalkeeper for the ball. I think it is going to be abused. It'd be a very stupid thing, and if this does happen, I think it is a big detriment to the game and actual skill of looking across a damn line. But, Darwin Núñez and Timo Werner
Darwin Nunes.
You're saying that attackers will adjust like defenders won't. Both sides will adjust, and the whole thing with the lines, like there's already bad decisions being made on lines. What I'm saying is that sometimes a bad decision because a pinky is offside, if you're going to end up calling that offside, I think that doesn't have any advantage. If there's a bad decision where maybe there's a stud on a knee or maybe not, I think like there's clearly a distinct disadvantage, so it's easier to make that call.
Okay, but then what you can do is on VAR, make the lines thicker, make it so, yeah, if it's just a pinky that's forward or past or offsides or whatever in the current rules, that it's not being called because you have a thicker line in the VAR. There is so much better ways than completely switching up the rule. If the biggest rule or the biggest problem is VAR and how they're calling it, this is not the solution. This is absolutely not.
I think a problem is VAR. The problem of VAR will still exist here. I'm just saying fundamentally, I don't see the advantage of your right shoulder being ahead for a goal. I don't see that.
But Nick, the center backs and the strikers are just going to be boxing each other out constantly, waiting for a ball to come through, and it's going to be sprinting and elbowing to get in front, boxing out. I don't want to see a rebound fest on the back line.
What do attackers do now? They just look at each other and shake hands and then touch each other's dick and keep moving? What the fuck are you talking about?
They're running across the line and then cutting forward. They're not.
And they won't do that here? That eliminates that? They're just going to hold hands and be looking deeply into each other? What are you talking about, bro?
Yes, they'll still do that. But Nick, now you can just have a big-ass forward who sits on the other side of the center back and is last man through, but he's just going to stick an arm back and not be offsides.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Maybe that center back should step up. I don't know, or take a step back, or maybe they're not a motionless object, bro. Both sides will adjust.
The center forward can also take a step with them and just stay on them, and then stick an arm back before they run through and are already through.
You fucking conservative. You enemy of innovation. You enemy of evolution. You are not for the savior of mankind. You are a man who is stuck in the past, and I am sick of old heads like you running this country.
Mike, where are you at after hearing both sides of this? Am I crazy to think this is a god-awful rule, and is he crazy to think this is a great rule?
You're a offsides Puritan, and Nick is a radical. So we'll have to see it. We'll just have to see it. I think Nick is on to a point that defenses will adjust, managers will adjust. It's not an overnight rule that defenders will be completely unprepared for. There will be adjustment on both sides, every side of the ball, whether that's center backs sitting 10 yards off a big striker, so he doesn't have that advantage anymore. There'll be adjustments. We'll have to see it before we make real critiques, I think.
Yeah, I think it's extremely stupid. But let us know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you agree with me or if you need an IQ test like Nick.